This is Finn's News Network, where I give facts, not nonsense. So, it is our first time back in around 2 months, but I've been working hard, and so today I'm here to present you with my Drivers' Championship predictions. So as promised, I will be covering the Formula One season. Formula One is a motor racing league, the fastest in the world. If you've heard of NASCAR and IndyCar, those are, it's another racing series, not in the USA. It's actually based it's based in Europe. Mostly, a lot of the races are in Europe. And so I have been working long and hard about my predictions, and so other YouTubers have done this, so I'm here to show you what I have prepared. Okay, so in P20, I have Nikita Mazepin from the Haas F1 team. So Nikita, he's a bit of an odd story. He has done some bad things. This past December, he inappropriately touched a woman and then posted it on Instagram. And so yeah, he knocked a baller down because he was mad about finishing second in a race earlier this year. Came very close to hitting the winner, who had already walked out. He finished 5th in the Formula 2, which is the junior series. To F1, I don't think he's really ready, and I would have considered another prospect from the Formula 2 to take his spot. So in 19th place, I have Nicholas Latifi from the Williams team. So what I did not know in Mazepin is that he is a pay driver. So a pay driver has a person, usually their father, that invests a lot of money into the team, especially for the lower budget teams like Haas and Williams. It's like that. So while Mazepin's dad is a billionaire, Latifi's dad owns 10% of McLaren, which I think most of you have heard of. And he, the F1 team, and he is a big F1 fan. He owns a food company. So Latifi is Canadian, and I think that he's still learning a bit. He had some bad incidents. He showed that he has talent last year. He had multiple 11th places that I thought were very impressive, most notably in Monza, Italy. But yeah. So in 18th place, I have Mick Schumacher. Now, I personally love Mick. And if you've ever heard of racing, I'd probably assume that you've heard the name Michael Schumacher, the most successful F1 driver to ever live. This is his son, Mick. Mick is very good. He has a lot of raw talent. He's learning a lot, and I think that one day he will drive for Ferrari and he will become a world champion. He's got the talent. He won the Formula 2 championship by actually a reasonable margin over Callum Ilott. He beat Mazepin. He was a race winner in Formula 2. He was very good, and so I really hope that he brings some good stuff. So in P17, I have Kimi Raikkonen. So Kimi is a face. He's pretty funny. He doesn't really talk a lot. He's got the voice that shows that he doesn't talk. He's Finnish, really. And so I think, hey, he's old. He's like 40, 41, I think now. Maybe even 42. Yeah, I think he's 42 now. He is very old for a racing driver, one of the oldest drivers ever to compete in Formula 1. And so I think that he is very good, and I think that he still has talent left. I just don't think that he's going to have a great season considering how old he is. So in 16th, I put Antonio Giovinazzi. Giovinazzi is actually Italian, and he is, I think that he is a good driver, especially because he's new. And he's had some good moments. He subbed in for Sauber actually in 2017. And so he actually gained 4 places in his first race in F1 before a big crash in China where he hit the wall at the final corner on a pretty slippery track in 2017. He didn't do well. It was actually a surprise that the team re-signed him for 2020 when they did, but he was very close to Kimi in pace, and I think that he's going to have a good season and possibly beat Kimi. So, in 15th place is George Russell. Now, here's the backline on George. He's an awesome driver, tons of talent. This will be his 3rd year in F1, all with Williams. There was an out there. Lewis Hamilton, who has 7 world titles, got COVID in December and he missed a race. This was the guy that replaced him. Russell, who is known for his qualified second, got a great start and led the race for 63 laps. This was an 87-lap race. A pit stop mistake dropped him to 5th. He was all the way up to 2nd, right on the back of Sergio Perez for the lead, and he had a puncture, even though a lot of us are still questioning this since I saw nothing wrong with George's tire. I was actually watching my race with my friend who's half British and is a big George Russell and Lewis Hamilton fan, and he was just horrified. I was rooting for George that day to win, and so, yeah, he finished 9th looking for his first points, but he should have won that race, and I think that he's going to do an excellent job, especially with looks like an upgraded Williams. Okay, so now we're on to the real midfield. So this is Lance Stroll. So I think that Lance, he's really more of a pay driver. I think he has talent. I mean, he has scored 3 podiums. He won Formula 3 and Formula 4, which are both feeder series, because where all of them are equal. So he obviously has talent. You can't buy your way into the sport. I mean, you can partly, but you still got to have talent. I don't think he's going to have a great year, especially because the competition is increasing and you've got some new drivers in that are better than the old ones, especially I feel this year. So I think that he will be last in the midfield. I think that he will still be fighting for points consistently. I think he'll have a decent season, but I don't think that he is going to do great. P13, we have Esteban Ocon from the newly formed Alpine team. So Ocon actually performed brilliantly in 2017 and 2018 with the Team Force India. He was over chosen to be dropped by Force India when Lance Stroll's father, Lawrence Stroll, decided to come in and buy the team. Sergio Perez did stay, but I think that he has a lot of talent. And while I did agree with the Perez choice, I think that he should have gone to another team in 2019. And so I feel like that was very difficult for him. But he came back on fire. P2, the penultimate race of the season. And so I think that he's going to have a decent year. I think he could contend for maybe a podium. I don't know. So this is our final rookie, and he's the highest. Did you know it? So I'm going to do this because Tauri, along with their sister team Red Bull, so Red Bull is the parent company. So it used to be called Toro Rosso, which means Red Bull in Italian, but Tauri is Red Bull's fashion brand, and so Red Bull decided to switch it to that. Now Tsunoda, I'm doing this because the power of the Honda engine is going to let him qualify high, and he showed that he could qualify in F2. I think he took multiple pole positions across the 2020 season. And so I definitely think that he is going to be raring, and I think with that Honda engine to help him, I think that P12 is going to be a very solid result. He will be fighting for points and maybe even higher points finishes like 5th, 6th, 7th, that sort of stuff. So I think he's good, and best of luck. Now Fernando Alonso, 2-time world champion, awesome guy. My dad is smiling. Alonso is now his favorite driver because Alpine is his favorite team. And so Fernando, he's a great guy. He has a temper, gets a little mad on the radio. One of his multiple cracks in 2018, he said this a lot because the car, when he went to McLaren for his final stint, got worse every year. 2018 actually was a big rebound. He started off 5th, 7th, but he kind of lost later in the year. But his most famous crack was, "No more radio for the rest of the race." I'm trying to do that in a Spanish accent. Obviously, I suck at a Spanish accent, even if I'm decent at Spanish. But I think that P11, just because he's new, and if he does stay in the sport for one more year, I think that he will be fighting more. But I think that he's a good driver, and I think that he will be doing well. Pierre Gasly. So if you've been following F1 for a few years, you know the story of Pierre Gasly. In just his second race in F1, he comes home to an incredible 4th place in what I thought was probably one of the best races. He gets promoted to Red Bull for the 2019 season. He has a disaster at Red Bull, and then he comes back. He's a little disappointed. And then his best friend, Antoine Hubert, dies in a crash in 2019. That really defeated his confidence because it was the feature race on Saturday. The next day, he picks up 7 positions in what was probably an awesome drive for Antoine. He went up to 2nd place in Brazil, and then he won a race this year. I think that once Sergio Perez goes from that team, or if Max Verstappen moves to Mercedes at the end of this year, which is a move that is highly likely near this point, I think that Pierre is definitely the first choice of that Red Bull seat from the key guys at Red Bull. So best of luck to getting that seat, Pierre. P9, I have Carlos Sainz in the Ferrari. He's the other Spanish driver. So he has moved. So he used to be in a Red Bull Driver Academy. Then he moved to Renault, McLaren, and now Ferrari. So this is just his 4th team in his 7th year in F1. So he's done a lot of moving around. So I think that he will have a decent season. P9 still, because I don't know that the Ferrari car is all that great. But he has talent. He's showed it. He got a podium this year. He got a podium last year. He did very well. I think he got 6th place last year, which was actually the best result by a midfield driver. And by midfield, I mean nobody from the top 3 teams in a long time because of that controversy down at Red Bull. I think he snagged P6 again this year, something in that setup. In that range, and I think that he's just going to do an awesome job at Ferrari. I'm just really concerned about that car, especially the engine, so that's why I'm gonna give this result. So Sebastian Vettel, it's the guy that Sainz replaced. I love Sebastian Vettel. He's an awesome guy, really funny, really cool. But the Ferrari was just not delivering, but neither was Seb. I mean, I remember watching on TV, he had a big chance to get P2. He got P3 in a race. He was having a big fight with his teammate right at the end of Turkey. There were about 4 turns left, and suddenly Charles Leclerc overtook Sergio Perez for 2nd place. Leclerc locked up, and I remember these words on the radio so clearly from his engineer, because Vettel had had a tough season, and he really wanted to get it. And he said, "Go free, go free!" Through the chicane, he lost out by 3/10. His front wing was right on Perez's rear tire. And I'm wearing a Sergio Perez shirt because I'm a big fan, and I was cheering as Perez crossed the line. But I also really wanted Vettel to do well. And so I think that he's just going to see this at Aston Martin and go boom. So I hope he has an excellent season. So in P7, we have Lando Norris. So Lando, he's young, he's funny, he's got a lot of charm. I think that he will do definitely well. He has not done great. I mean, he's shown success. The P3 in Austria, obviously, snagging Hamilton. He found 1.5 seconds in the final 1.5 laps, which I think was truly amazing. And he's shown that he has talent. He just hasn't performed. 11th. In a year where I think that he should have been up in 9th, and 9th in a year where I should have think he could be up in like 7th, because he's lost out by massive margins to Carlos Sainz both years. And so, but I think with this new guy in Daniel Ricciardo still learning the team, I think that he can do well. And that he's a good driver. He's a good guy. And so let's see what he can do. So in P6, we have Charles Leclerc. So Leclerc is from Monaco. Which is kind of like the benchmark of F1, besides Britain. Charles is a really good guy, and so he moved up to Ferrari, and right away he comes for a pole position, but engine problems denied him of doing a good job in Bahrain. 2-time race winner. He was on pole 7 times last year. 6 or 7 times in 2019. So I think that he will definitely do well. Just to note, reason why he's not wearing a mask, some of these photos were taken in 2019. So that's why he's not wearing a mask in this one. Or it's just driver photos that have been taken, like without a mask. But yeah, so I think that I think that he knows what to do. He has a temper like Alonso, but I still think that he's going to do well, because he's beaten his teammate all 3 years, Ericsson and Vettel. So let's see. So I'm going to try and just get through these final 5 quickly because this is kind of a long video. So Daniel Ricciardo McLaren, he is P5 for a reason. So Daniel he's a great guy, big joker, really funny. I think that in the new car, some people have been predicting him to finish P3, beating Perez and Bottas. I don't think that's happening, because I think he's still going to adapt to the car. Now, I think he's a good guy, and this is why I have him going best of the rest, behind the top 2 teams, and I think that he will be a constant podium contender. And so I think that he will do a good job. He's shown it at Red Bull, at Renault. He's had a lot of reliability issues. Of course, 10 retirements in 2018. That kind of downed his confidence. Not a great 2019. But 5th place, I think he will repeat that here at McLaren. Valtteri Bottas. He's always been looked down on. He's a great driver. So there's an F1 documentary called Drive to Survive on Netflix. It's actually really cool. And I like it. There's an episode featuring Valtteri, and you can see in that episode that he's really looked down at the team, but he's a great driver. I haven't finished in P4 just because Perez has been brought in, but I think that Lewis is getting to call all the shots of what he wants, and Valtteri isn't really helping, so I think that's unfair, but that's also why I'm having him go a little down. But I hope that he does beat Lewis, because every year I'm going to hope that, and yeah. So, let's see. P3, Sergio Perez, my favorite racing driver. So I think Perez, he's an awesome guy. He got dropped, and then he just goes like, I think these are the actual results. 5th, 4th, I may be wrong. I think he's 5th, 4th, 5th, 7th, but he made contact and spun it on the first lap, recovered 7th. 6th, but had to pit from P3. 2nd, retirement from 3rd place with an engine failure with just 3 laps to go. Wins after being in a crash on lap 1 and nearly going out. And then an oil transmission failure at Abu Dhabi. That was a sad ending. But I think that he's a really good guy, and I think that he's going to hopefully just do it at Red Bull. And P3 might be a bit ambitious, but it's probably my boldest prediction. But, hey, wait, who knows? So Lewis Hamilton, you know who he is, 7 times world champ. He's an awesome guy. I especially love him because of his Black Lives Matter movement, and I support that too. You've heard me saying that in my videos. But I've been rooting against him a lot just because I want the underdogs to win. But I know that he's a great guy. He's a great driver. He's got tons of skill. And so, but I'm putting him P2 just because I think that this is definitely Max's year. Now to P1, Max Verstappen. Man, I love him. He's a great guy. Look at that smile on his face. It's beautiful. I mean, I think he's going to win because, I'm not saying this because I'm biased, just because I'm a new Red Bull fan because of Checo. I'm saying this because he's improved a lot. Remember, the Mercedes making contact, I've watched that video over and over, leading him to his first win in his first race at Red Bull. I will do David Croft's commentary. I won't do it in a British accent. Here, Hamilton now going down the inside of Rosberg, and now they've crashed. They're in the gravel. And Christian Horner's wife was actually at that race. Christian Horner was the boss of Red Bull, and she was jumping up and down as they crashed. And just because it was Maxi's first race. So I definitely think this is the year. Come on, mate. Go get him. Thank you for watching, and this has been another episode of Finn's News Network, where we give facts, not nonsense. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.